in your JavaScript DOM, we talk about methods, right? And properties. Talk about some properties. Although we talk about one method, which is documents.getElements by ID. Now, let us just talk about query selector. We'll talk about class name also. So I think everybody should understand class name now. Let's talk about query selector. When we talk about query selector is basically trying to select elements the same way we'll be selecting ID and classes, just that there's a slight difference. Now, let me try to select these particular ones with query selector. So I'm going to like comment it out. I'm going to comment them out. Okay. So I'm going to comment them out now. Now, if I want to select this new var with query selector, how do I select it? I can still do the same thing. I can say let new var, right? New var equals to what? Document dot query selector. The same way. Then now, what is the what's the ID here? New, right? Now, I don't have to say new, right? If I put new like this, it's not going to recognize it as anything. But for it to recognize it as an ID, I have to precede it with an hash, just like your CSS, hash new. You understand it now? Similarly, if I want to do the same thing with this class name here, I can do let div equals to document dot query selector, right? Then if I'm going to select this class name of create here, all I have to do is what? Proceed with a dot create. You understand? Just like your classes and IDs in CSS. So that's what query selector helps you do. So query selector is like an alternative to what class name and what IDs. So in case you know, okay, trying to remember all of these things might be hard for you. Just use document.query selector and proceed to their dot or their hash. I hope this is clear to everybody. Is it clear to us? If it's clear, give me a thumbs up, please. I think that's pretty much straightforward. So that's basically what query selector will do for you. So if it is still not clear, you can also unmute and let me know. So before we move on. Okay, I'm going to take this silence as everybody understands. So, all right. So that's basically what your query selector will do for you. Now, moving on to like another important aspect of today's class, we're going to talk about events. Now, what do we mean by events? JavaScript events are actions that occur in the browser which trigger a response in our code. JavaScript events are actions that occur in the browser that can trigger a response in our code. Now, what does this mean? It is saying that, oh, probably a user does something in our browser. This can actually cause a reaction that what makes things happen. For instance, this is a save button here, right? If I click on this save button, it is something that occurred in this browser, and it automatically makes sure that what this particular piece that I'm writing here is saved. So if you wait for a particular moment, now as you can see, what a lesson successfully saved. This is an event. So anything or any actions that occur in the browser that trigger a response in our code, a response or something updated in our code, is known as as an event. So after clicking on this saved, it rolled, and after saving, it told you that what a lesson has been saved. Similarly, if I click on this publish, something popped up. This is also this is also an event. If I click on view, this is also technically this is also an event. Now, this is basically what events mean. Events are saying that, okay, something happens and certain reactions are what occurred. Now, these reactions or these actions are performed by the user and the browser itself. So, for example, you click on a button, which we just did. That's an event. We reloaded a page. If I reload it, that's also an event. If I'm typing in an input field, which we've done before, is an event. A drop down, as you can see, is an event. So when an event occurs, JavaScript can run a function to respond to that event. Now, this function is called an event handler. So now I'm explaining all of this, and I hope everybody's getting it. Now, don't worry, we'll talk about all of these things in details. So when an event occurs, JavaScript will run a function to respond to that event, and that event is called an event handler. So an event handler is a function that runs whenever a specific event occurs. So for instance, in this place, this is an event handler. What I just did here is an event handler. Why? Because it's a function that runs when this event is occurring. Now, we'll talk about some certain events before we end today's class. Now, we'll talk about the click, the onload, onchange, on mouse over, and on queue down. So we'll focus on only 3: on click, onload, and on change. Now, we have a lot of events. These are not the only 5 events we have, a lot of them. So again, as I've always said, I will teach you the most important ones. Then I will expect you to go back and read on the others, because those ones are ones that you can pick up yourself. But these ones are the ones that you need to know first. Then you can pick up the rest by yourself. Now, we'll talk about on click, onload, and on change. So on click, onload, and on change. Hopefully we'll finish it up today. Now, when we talk about on click is an event that responds to a click on the browser. That's what your onClick does. Your onClick is an event that responds to a click on the browser. For instance, just like I said before, if I go ahead now and click on, so let's try something. Let me just remove, I want to add something to it. So let me just add a full stop here. Now, if I add a full stop here now, you'll probably see like a save this thing now. If I click on this save now, bam, that's what? That's an event. That's clicking. You understand? That is basically what click says. So click is saying that, okay, this onclick event occurs when a user clicks on an element, such as a button on your web page. Now, for instance, let us have an example. So for instance, I'm going to like just delete everything that is here. I hope everybody has written this. So let's delete everything. We don't need this for now. Now, for instance, let's say you want to have a button. I'm also going to remove everything that is here. Now, I'm going to have a button, right? So the button is going to have an ID of click me, or let's just say BTN, right? Now, we're not going to have a p tag that says that has an ID of show. Now, what do we want to do? We want to make sure that this particular p tag has you just clicked a button. Now, we're going to hide this p tag with our CSS. Now, as you can see, check it out now. This is what we have. You just click the button. So this button is going to say click to hide. Sorry, click to show. Now, what we want to do is that whenever you click on this button, or initially this is not going to show, it's going to be hidden. So whenever you click on this button, this should now show. You understand it now? That is an event. Now I'm going to go to my CSS now. I'm going to hide it, or I will just use this place, style, right? And I'm going to say display of none. So we're going to hide this p tag to make sure that the p tag does not show. So whenever we now click on this place, we now want to make sure that that p tag automatically shows. Now, for that to happen, all we have to do is come to our JavaScript and use the onClick feature. Now, what is that onClick feature? So, for instance, what did you want to do again? Whenever we click on this button, this p tag has to show. Now, we are going to bring both the button and the p tag into our JavaScript. Now, what's the button? The button is going to be, so we can say document dot query selector, right? And the button is going to be what? Hash btn, because it was an ID. Similarly, we're going to do the same thing for the show. Show is going to be what? Hash show. Let us store them to a variable. So we're going to store let btn equals to this, then let text, let show text, let's just say show txt equals to what? This. Now, we're now going to have a click event that allows this button to show whenever we click on that button. So now, that brings me to an event handler. Event handler. Now, an event handler is now a function tied to an event. So it's a function that now allows that particular event to work. So for instance, I'm going to add an event listener. So I'm going to say btn dot add event listener, right? And the event you're going to be listening to is what? A click event. Why? Because we are trying to what? Click on this particular button to show it. So now, click, comma, then the event handler, which is the function. I can now say function, right? And you know what? Function, and we're not going to have a function that is here. So as you can see, this function is nameless. You don't need to name it because why? It is already tied to what? An event. So now, if I go ahead now and I say, okay, after doing that, so whenever you now click on this event, what do you want to have? I want to change this show text from a display of none to a display of what? Block. I can now say show txt dot what? Style dot display equals to what? Block. Now, if you go ahead and you check it out now, refresh. Now, if I click on show, what do you have? You just click the button. As you can see, it is now working. And that's what an event handler is basically talking about. Event handler is saying, okay, whenever you click, sorry, your click event rather is talking about. Whenever you click on something, you want certain actions to perform or to show. So this is basically what your event is saying. I hope everybody understands this. Is it clear to everybody, please? If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. If it is not, also give me a thumbs down. Let me know. Or you can unmute and let me know if this is something that you still need me to explain again. Please, I need responses. Okay.
Sir,
so,
please,
Mr. Pa, is it clear to anybody else?
It's not so clear.
Okay, it's not clear to 2 people. Okay, who else again?
So please, let's go again.
All right. Let me give a simpler example so that everybody understands what I'm trying to do. So now, let us leave HTML for now. We'll come back to HTML. Let me remove this. So, what am I saying? What I'm basically saying is that whenever you click on a particular button, something has to happen, right? Now, let's now say you have this p tag that is here, but this p tag is hidden, right? Now, it is hidden because you only want it to show when this button is clicked. That's a click event, right? Now, there's not something we call onClick. OnClick is an event that responds to a click on the browser. I hope you're getting me. So what do you want to do now? You want this particular p tag to show whenever this button is clicked. Now, one thing that you can do is that, yeah, please go ahead.
Please, I can't see your screen.
Is it, sorry, who can, is it like general? Can you see my screen, Ms. Favor? Can you see my screen, Mr. Shevin?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, I think Mr. Pius is from your end. So you can probably log up the call and join again. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you have an onClick event here. Now, what onClick event does is that it allows you to create an event that responds to a click event on browser or a click from the user on your browser. Now, how do you use your onClick? You already know that your click event is going to affect 2 properties. So you already know that your click event is going to affect 2 properties, your button and your p tag. See, all of these things, you just have to open up your mind. It's not hard, I swear, it's not hard. It's very, very easy. So what you need to do is that since you know that whenever you want to click on this button, it's going to affect the p tag. So two things will be affected here, button and p tag. You get it now? So you bring the button and your p tag into your what? Your HTML. Sorry, into your JavaScript rather. So now how do you bring them? You use your what? Your method. Document.getElement by what? ID, or you can say document.querySelector. So how do I put it? I can say let btn equals what? Document dot query selector, right? And then what am I getting? I'm getting what? btn, which is this, which is hash btn, because an ID. Similarly, I can do the same thing for my what? My p tag, which is what? Let show text, that's my p tag, equals to what? Document dot query selector, right? And then what am I going to get? I'm going to get what? Hash show, which is what? This. Now, these are the two elements you want to work on in your JavaScript. Now, what you have to do now is that you now have to add the click event to what? To your button. You now have to add the what? The click event to your button. Because whenever your button is clicked, is when you want to what? Show the text. So this click event has to be to your button. Now you can do it in two ways. I'm going to show us the simplest way. First is that you can go ahead and create your function. So what's my function? I can say function, which is what? Show text, right? Right? I cannot have what? This. Now, what's the function of show? Function of show text should what? Automatically show this text whenever we click on. So we can say show text, show txt dot what? Display. Sorry, dot style rather. Dot display. You know, I told you that when it comes to JavaScript, you can also what? Change the style, right? So I showed us some important properties. I said inner HTML. I said inner text. Right? I also showed you value. Then there's now what? Style. So you can actually change the style of a particular element, right? Just the way I can say show text of value by changing the value, I can also say show text of style. Now, if I say style, I can now use any CSS property. So dot display, dot position, you understand? Dot border, dot this, dot that. But what we need right here is what? Dot display. Now, the display, you know, if something was none before, if you want to what, make it show, you have to what, give it a display of what? Block. Now, automatically it has not worked yet because what I just did, I just defined the function, right? I first of all need to what? Call out that function, which is what? Show text. So now I've called out the function. So, so that was a mistake. I'm not supposed to call it here. Now, yes, I'm supposed to call out the function, but after calling out the function, see that automatically it showed here. But I don't want that to happen. I want it to happen by clicking on this place. So if I do not click on this place, it should not show. So that means I have to tie this function that is here now to this button with a click event. So for me to do that, there is something we call add event listener. Listener. Now, this add event listener is not going to be the one that listens for that event. Is your event going to be a click event? Is it going to be a load event? Is it going to be a change event? Is it going to be a mouse or whatever event it is you want to add? So I can go ahead and I can now say btn, which is our button, this one, dot add event listener by I'm just putting it together with what the event listener. Then we are listening for what? A click event, right? Then the click event is now going to what? Take in this function, which is what? Show text. That's it. So if I go ahead now and I'm not supposed to use this. So I have to remove, what's wrong? I have to remove this this thing. Now, if I say show text and then you check it out now. So if I click on show, what do you have? You just clicked an event. Do you understand it now? That is basically what your click event. As you can see, look at it. I said what? I define my function, right? Then I said btn.add event listener. I'm listening for a click event and then show text. Now, this is one way you can do this. You can do it in several ways. This is one way in which you can do this. But do we understand this now? Do we understand the syntax now? Is it clear to us? Okay, so looks like it is clear to 3 people: Mr. Shegun, Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Vincent, Mr. Esosa. I've not actually heard from you. Is it clear to everybody? Okay, so that is that about click events. Now, as I said, you can do this in different ways, right? I can also still decide to say, okay, I don't want to use add event listener. I don't want to use any of these ones here. All I want to do is I want to go ahead in my HTML and add it as an attribute. So in this place, I can now say onClick, right? And now add the function, which is show text. So I can come here and I can say show text. That's it. Now, if I save it up and I come right here and I refresh, once I click on show text, it's going to show. So as you can see, I did not really need the add event listener. All I have to do is use an attribute here of onClick and then what? Attach it to the what? To the function I already created, which is what? Show text. Right? So that's basically another way to doing this. So basically what onClick does is that what? It responds to a click event on the browser. That's all. That's all. So you can do this in 2 ways. Either you have it like this, right? Or you use your what? Your onClick attribute in your button like this. But I will always suggest this and not this. Always. I always suggest this and not this. Although in the end, probably when you get to React, you will do more of this. But still, I'll suggest this for plain JavaScript. So I hope everybody understands what we are talking about now. Is it clear to us? Is it clear? Do we understand click events now? Is it clear to us? All right, so now let us move on to the next one, which is now what? Load. Now, when we talk about load, right, we're talking about whenever a particular page is reloaded, or whenever a particular page is reloaded, certain things have to happen. Now, the onload event runs when a page finishes loading, right? Now, what happens is that what? The page loads, the load function runs automatically, and then what? An alert message occurs or happens. Now, let's use this as an example. So now let us load the page. Let's say I'm gonna have a p tag that automatically says loading, right? So I'm going to remove this one that is here. I don't think I need this button again. I'm going to remove it. So this one, I'm also going to comment start for now. Now, in the body, I'm going to add an attribute of onload, right? Now, this onload is going to have a loading function that says what? Loading. Now, what this means is that what? Whenever this page loads up, I want something to happen. So I can say, welcome to our website. Now we can do something that says, okay, since you have the body now, we can just say, we can just go ahead and say function, right? Loaded or loading, right? Since I think it's loading, we put a loading, yes, loading, right? So I can now have what? Whenever it is fully loaded, I can say window dot alert, just to alert an image that says what? Welcome to our web page. Now that's all. Once I finish refreshing now, and I come right here now, so as you can see, what is saying? Welcome to our web page. Now I also want this to disappear immediately it finishes loading. So I can now say set timeout. Set timeout. So let's use the set timeout function instead. Function, good. So let's say 3000 milliseconds. Don't worry, I'll explain all of these things very soon. So I can now say I want to bring in the p tag. Let's give it an ID of load. So I can now say let loaded equals to what? Document dot get elements by ID. Okay, I'll just use query selector there. I'm going to say load. So now what I want is that I do not want load to show again after 3 seconds. I can say load dot style dot display should now be equals to what? None. Now, if you check it out now, after loading, it says welcome to our web page. After 3 seconds, it's going to what? Disappear. So let's wait for it. As you can see, it has disappeared. So that's what set timeout will do. So we'll talk about set timeout very soon. So welcome to our web page. Okay. After 3 seconds, it automatically disappears. Now that's basically what your set timeout property will do for you. I just introduce you to it so that you can have a peek of what we'll be talking about very, very, very soon. So now that is that about onload. Onload is saying that, okay, whenever a page refreshes, certain things probably you want something to happen. That's why I see that whenever you go to some websites, you just automatically see something like this. I say, okay, welcome to our page, right? Or probably like a modal that just pops up and say welcome to our page. That's because the load property or the load event has already been changed or been altered. I say, okay, whenever a user loads this page, say what? Welcome to our page. Now, do we understand this? Is it clear to us, please? Okay, Mr. Sorry, everyone. My internet went off. Can we all hear me now? Please kindly confirm where you stopped hearing me, if possible. Can we all hear me now, please?
Yes,
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
I
please
can
kindly
hear you.
okay, please kindly confirm where you stopped hearing me. Did you
Um,
hear the part where I explained the loading completely?
yes, sir.
Yes, we were at
Okay,
a
okay.
question.
Oh, okay, Mr. David, right? I think somebody wanted to ask a question the other time. Was it Mr. David or Mr. Pius?
Yeah, it was. I raised my hand.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think
please go ahead.
what I wanted to ask that is is it compulsory to put a function um after that query? Enter your code, please.
Okay, I'm on my code now.
Okay. There was one part when where that query selector, after the query selector, you added a function show text, then that's quotations. I wanted to ask if it is compulsory to put that. Yes, that one you are.
This one.
Yes.
Okay. You wanted to ask what?
If it's compulsory to put it, that function show text.
I showed us different ways of how do I put this? I was just showing us different ways of using your events, right? I said you can do something like this for BTN or add event listener, then your click event, and then you can write all the functions outside, like in this place, rather than this way. Or you can define your function out, then you know that normally if you define your function, you have to still call it. So to call it, you can go ahead and we'll just call the name of the function in this place. So that's what I was just trying to say. So if you are going to write your function outside, of course, it's important that you put your function. Have I answered your question? Hello, Mr. David, can you hear me? Have I answered your question? Okay. Mr.
That's good.
Pius, please go ahead.
Yeah, I got this now. I was a little bit confused, but I've checked and I understand this now.
Okay.
So
So
I don't have any question again.
okay. So that means everybody understands uh the load switch. Okay, Miss Favor, please go ahead.
So this loading that we just talked about, is it
Yes.
responsible for like skeleton loading in websites that just shows the layout of the website first? Is this unload this thing we talked about responsible for it?
Sorry, can you come again?
Okay. I said that this unload event method that we just talked about, is it
Yes.
responsible for skeleton loading for websites? Just like when you go to YouTube, when it's loading, it shows the layout like that, but not fully out. Is it this unload that is responsible for it? So did
I
you
don't know
get
if
my
it's
question?
please can you come again, please? Can you come again?
So can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I think you were breaking at some point, but go ahead.
Okay. I asked that this unload event method that we just talked about,
Yes.
is it responsible for skeleton loading for websites, just like the one we see in YouTube that will just load somehow, that skeleton loading before the page actually pops up?
Well, the thing is that when it comes to skeleton loading, right? So it's not exactly events. Sometimes it's actually due to the framework that is being used. You understand? So sometimes it's displayed, sometimes it can actually be loading depending on how the programmer sets it. You understand? So for instance, some programmers probably just uses loading or load events to what load things like that up. But most of the times it's due to like the framework that they're using. Okay, in that framework, they are setting actually I still think it's events because even in the framework, React, you still have to use an event for that. So technically it's actually an event. So I think you are correct. It's actually an event technically, but I I don't know, I've not really seen it in that light before. Is my explanation clear to you now?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how it is done
Okay, so
using
how
this
it is
onload.
done is that uh that's like a very, very long thing to like explore. But one thing is that
Okay.
um for you to do something like that, right? It's not exactly hard, it is still triggering an event. Um it's triggering an event in response to whatever the user does. You know that there are some pages you enter in some website now that certain things will just happen. You understand? It's just trigger an event and then something will pop up. So it still depends on what the user does. So of course, it's definitely an event. And if you want to implement something like that, then you just have to sit down and think about how to implement it. But this is like the basics. This is what you need to understand before you can implement that. I hope it's clear to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please, can you go to your code, your VS code, please?
Okay. So let me stop recording and then we'll talk about the last one once we are done writing. Hopefully there's still enough time for us.